Peace, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy E Rule, host of the Dynamics Podcast. We're gonna try something fun today. We're gonna talk about Knicks lookalikes, aka variants from like the Loki series on Disney Plus. Let's have some fun, guys. I got my guy Knicks Community Podcast in the building. Let's get right into it. That's fun. I'm starting to get used to that little intro there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's like tradition now, I guess,
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little cute with it a little bit. So
I
anyway,
like
good to see you, man. Thank you for coming on my screen, man, Mr. Aiden. This is Aiden Donahue from the Knicks Community Podcast. What's up?
not much. Very excited for this week's upcoming draft. Um and yeah, it's good. We'll have a lot more Knicks news to talk about. Just gonna be fun.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna be doing a draft special tomorrow. We're gonna have State and also Guard Up Knicks podcast tomorrow, man. So look out for that about the same time, 9 o'clock. So shout out to State, man. I actually want to State on this podcast because we're doing Nick variants, man. So he's been on Twitter like really going hard with the Kane lookalike thing, you know. So Kane is like perfect is like the perfect moniker for State, man. So have you got a chance to think about any like Nick variants or something similar to like players that are similar to the ones that we have already?
Yeah, for sure. And there's always uh things that have gone wrong in Knicks timelines and stuff that I wish we had a TVA to just fix and get that sorted out. But yeah, I'm sure I got some in mind.
All right. Well, the first one I have it right on the thumbnail. I think about this all the time throughout the playoffs. Chris Middleton, and RJ are very similar, man. What do you think about those two guys?
Yeah, I think that um I think that they're very similar in the sense that their play styles are very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, you have both can just explode to the basket, really at any point. Kind of shoot from everywhere. I mean, in a sense, I kind of want RJ to just improve his free throws as always. But you know, um, yeah, I just think that it's really similar also just because of like I guess their defensive awareness as well. Um, and for example, like we saw a play I believe in Game 6, where I think it was a pass that I think Chris Paul might have done or Devin Booker, and Middleton was just right on that, and I feel like that RJ definitely has those moments as well. So yeah, no, I could definitely see that they're similar for sure.
Well, definitely. Talking about stats and stuff, RJ's kind of like ahead of the curve already. He's already averaging 17, 7 and whatever stats else he had. Chris Middleton didn't really get to that level until maybe his fourth year. And as far as like the rebounds and adding the assists and stuff, he didn't get to RJ's level to damn near his what's his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, eighth year in the NBA where he averaged 18 points and 6 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? So, RJ's actually ahead of the curve a lot. So I would like to see him reach that Middleton status because Middleton's not really like a flashy guy. He's not going to surprise you with a whole bunch of different moves and dribble combinations and all that type of thing. If he's going to drive, he's driving. If he's going to pass, he's passing. If he's going to shoot that three, he's going to shoot the three. So they're very similar in that regard. So I'm hoping that RJ can continue to get that forward movement in his game, and maybe solidify that 20 point a game score, and maybe just be a little bit more consistent with it because I think that's the big problem with RJ, also Middleton too, because throughout the playoffs he might have a 30 point game and then he'll fall off or he have a bad shooting night, get the 15 point type of thing. So I'm hoping that RJ can either mimic Middleton or possibly surpass him and get to like maybe like uh, I'm just trying to think of the different names. Like, can you think of anybody from the past that is similar to him?
To Middleton, I think I'm gonna say Kevin Durant, and here's why. I think that Middleton is really nice. I mean, I guess you can say the same thing about Reggie Bullock at times. They have a really nice off the dribble shot. And I guess more in regards to like the Kevin Durant similarity, like Middleton's fadeaways and Durant's fadeaways are similar also in the fact that, it's kind of that similar release where it's like not like your like normal shot, but it's more like centered and like up almost, like kind of like to like the top of your head or like middle of your forehead type of thing. Um, and it's just smooth and consistent. Um, and that's also another thing that I would really like RJ to kind of get is like, I think that yeah, he has a really nice shot, but like Middleton is like, we saw in the finals, like he was pretty much consistent, like the whole series against Phoenix, like from deep. Yes, like you saw in like probably like games 5 and like stuff like that in the series beforehand, and from mid range as well, which is definitely something that I would like RJ to get as well. I mean, you saw it like Julius Randle as well, right? I'm sure we're gonna get to him pretty soon, but his one shot throughout the entire season was that fadeaway shot, like I think like right like at the side of the paint, but just like fading all the way back to like out of bounds. Um, he got that shot like 10 out of 10 times. I mean, obviously the playoffs was a whole another story that it's too painful to get into. But yeah, so I just kind of I see those similarities and definitely want RJ to follow suit, if you will.
Yeah, a go-to move, basically, right? He
Yeah,
really needs to set the go-to move.
definitely. Um,
Well,
yeah,
well, the guy I was thinking about is Danny Granger. I don't know if you remember Danny Granger.
yeah.
He's definitely kind of before your time a little bit, but Danny Granger he averaged 7 points his first career, 13 points his second career, 19 points his third career. I mean his third career, his third season, topped off at 25 points a game in his fourth year. So RJ is going to be entering his third year right now. So like I said, he's definitely above the curve. If you delete that first season, he's very similar to Danny Granger in the fact that he averaged 13 and 19. So if that means that RJ's on his way to getting into the 20s, that'll be amazing, man. So I'm hoping he can get that thing. But like I said, just like a go-to move and maybe just clean up his in between game. Usually 20 point a game scores, they get those points in the in between game. So RJ definitely got to figure out a way to get into space, like you said, find a turnaround jumper of some kind, or just something that he could stick. Maybe just dribble to his left and just fade off. Something that he can always get. That'll definitely get him to that next level.
Yeah, and I guess while we're on the subject of Pacers, I guess another player that comes to mind that I really want RJ to follow suit. For some reason, Monte Ellis is like coming to my mind. I really like. I'm remembering like Monte Ellis, like when he was in his like prime, like his just explosiveness. And I think we saw kind of moments of that throughout RJ's career. I mean, obviously you saw the dunk on Bogdanovich. I mean, that play, just seeing that live was out of this world. But I really think that I would like, on the kind of subject of like go-to moves and like consistency. I would just like to see RJ, just be more like explosive at times. If you kind of know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So just kind of like little stuff, like just the little things, which I just think would make RJ just a more all around stronger player throughout his career.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. He just got to find himself, really, man. I think Team Canada he played pretty good,
Yeah.
So the little step back jump shots in transition, that type of thing. So if he can get that spice back, then that'll be great for the Knicks, man.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to his counterpart, man. Our Mr. Julius Randle. Who comes to mind when you see Julius? Who does Julius remind you of a lot?
It's a good question. I'm trying to think of the names too, man. Let's see. Hmm.
Well, not Beyblade, right?
I know. I'm trying to see like, are there players that just have had atrocious like go-to moves that have like uh, that have improved. I mean, let's see. Um,
We got the
you know,
Tasmanian Devil. We got
yeah. I mean, uh, I you, I'm gonna say like I think Tasmanian Devil. Honestly, that's pretty fair. Like really, like he's just out of control. Which actually, yeah. He was out of control, and just like this, that could perfectly describe Randle in the previous season and in the playoffs. There was this video I posted. I think you saw it because I remember you commented on it, where he passed it to Nate McMillan. In one I believe that was game two. I think it was game two. Yeah. Um, he started off that game just awful. I mean, the overpassing. He looked like he has this other go-to move just of passing. He looks like a human Beyblade. He does like he's like driving and then like he'll like run and then like turn his like whole body to like pass, and it kind of looks like a shot motion, but like he's done it like that too. Um, you know, I mean, definitely for sure, like that craziness of the Tasmanian Devil for sure. He kind of reminds me of Dirk, just with the nice fadeaways that he's definitely improved upon. Um, Tim Duncan as well. Elijah Wan just with the step backs and the faders as well. Just kind of players like that.
somebody. Butter Love posted Anthony Mason. What do you think about Anthony Mason and Julius?
Yeah, no, for sure. I want Randall to get the toughness of Anthony Mason. That's what I would love to see. It's like you see just like mentality wise, like you see like guys like, Patrick Beverly, PJ Tucker. This would be really good, kind of like an Anthony Mason, PJ Tucker kind of mindset. I mean, you saw PJ Tucker got no chance against those referees throughout that entire final series. And it was same thing, exact thing happened to Randall. The constant yelling with the refs on the side. Same thing happened with PJ Tucker throughout this finals. And at the end of it, PJ Tucker ends up winning the championship, and he ended up getting this like dog mentality that he was speaking about, at the parade. And I think kind of Marcus Morris tried to like talk about it, like when he was on the Knicks, slamming balls into people's faces.
Of course,
Um,
yep.
and just kind of like I just really want him to get like a toughness going, because then just that's just gonna make him be like, what, like I'm not scared of anybody, and they're just gonna have to deal with me and just my dominance, which is I think speaks about what Anthony Mason had, PJ Tucker had, and just the superstars throughout the NBA, all around have had that kind of mental toughness, and Trae Young developed that throughout the Knicks playoff series and every single series that he was in up to the Buck series. So just like a more of like a mental toughness like Mason, I would love to see Randall kind of work towards.
Yeah, definitely. Back to Anthony Mason, man. May the Fourth put it out here. He basically ushered off that point forward stuff. I guess you could give him credit to that. There's a couple guys from back in the days too, like Paul Presley and all those guys that were in on the Bucks teams during the '80s and stuff. That's kind of almost before my time as well. But they really kind of ushered in that the whole point guard, point forward stuff. But just to bring it back to Anthony Mason, Anthony Mason was a big dude, man. He was like a monster. I met him. I met him in person a few times as a kid. I actually got to shake his hand, and get an autograph, whatever, from him when he was at West Fourth. He just happened to be sitting on the floor, just like a regular guy. And then we said, "Yo, is that Anthony Mason? Yeah, that's freaking Anthony Mason." So my dad got me in there, and I was able to chop it up a little bit. But he's just like a really big, massive guy. But as far as like his skill set, he would get the rebound and then just start to break. Big, 6'8", 260 guy running up the court, starting to break and stuff. So he kind of really ushered in that whole thing with big guys dribbling the ball. One guy I would like to throw out there that's gonna piss everybody off is LeBron James. He's basically like LeBron James, the same height, same build and everything. Not the same explosion, not the same vision and all this other stuff. But if you imagine just like a Mac truck, when Julius Randle is running to the basket, guys kind of just get out the way. That's basically his best role when he's able to get the ball on the move rather than him doing so many dribble moves and stuff. Same thing with LeBron James. LeBron James is kind of at his best when he's just a freight train going to the basket. Giannis is another guy that changed that whole style there. Just that freight train you can't really stop. But what stops Julius Randle is just that damn spin move. When the pressure gets tight, he just goes back to his old self. That gets into the whole variant stuff, man. He became like this all NBA player, and then next thing you know, he's back to the old guy when the lights come on, man. So I hope that he can find his way. Not we don't need him to be LeBron, but we do need him to be Anthony Mason somewhat with a little bit of scoring. But I'm hoping like as we get more talent, that he'll be able to fall into that role, a little bit more easier, and with the less pressure off of him. I think that would be great.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. And just like in terms of his old self, I mean, just overpassing. And I don't think I've ever seen Randle overpass. I mean, that whole playoff series, like you were saying, just when the pressure got tight, he just went back right into his old self. So I just wish a TVA was just in real life, so you could just reset everything, make everything right, where we wouldn't have to deal with guys like Andrea Bargnani's or just the craziness that has gone on with this organization. So yeah, no, I 100% agree.
Yeah, speaking of Bargnani is like the variant of KP, right? Chris Porzingis.
Yeah.
Right, they're very similar players, right?
Very, very similar. I think Chris Stapps has more of more of explosion. I think he's kind of more of an all around player, but I mean, just I keep remembering when Bargnani. I don't know. I don't remember if we ended up winning this game. It was against Milwaukee, and we were up with a few seconds left, and he just by 2, and he just shot a 3. I mean, that play that haunts me. Same with him falling down on his face. Just, it's terrible. And I loved the acquisition at first. I remember we got him, and I loved him in Toronto, and I was like, this is gonna be great.
Yeah, I thought he was a good player. Actually, I thought adding him to the guys that we already had, and I was hoping that that wasn't gonna be the end of it. We were gonna add different guys and maybe get better and stuff, but it just didn't work out, man. It's like almost like boxing or whatever. You just gotta have the right mix in order to have a good fight or or have a good matchup or whatever. You just had to have a good mix around guys. Julius Randle, he was in over his head in these playoffs. That's why he played the way that he played. The telegraph pass you talk about when he passes to Nate McMillan, he does it all the time. So if you're a coach trying to defend that, in the game plan and stuff, you can easily stop that so that you could rattle him. And every time he made the move where he was going to make that pass, there was always somebody there at the guy he wanted to pass to. So he was he was spooked. Somebody put that here too. Yeah, he was spooked, in the playoffs. Julius Randle. So it is what it is. But I feel like, he's a good player. But like I said, as we get better, as RJ ascends and as we start getting more guys into the roster, I think Julius Randle will be fine. He just has to really just settle into more like we said, more that Anthony Mason thing. Zion is another nice variant, also very similar games, right?
Oh yeah, oh my God, what I would give to have an RJ Zion duo on this team, man. Oh my God, that reminds me of Dwayne Wade and LeBron on Miami. Just the lobs that would happen, and just the athleticism of Zion. Just that'd be great. I honestly, I mean, I don't know. I think I would have to trade Randle for a Zion package. Honestly, it's just how can you not? I mean, it's just you want that energy and athleticism and that freak of nature explosiveness that Zion would bring.
Yeah, they're definitely similar too. But just Zion's a little shorter.
Yeah.
But Julius Randle can't jump as high. But we'll see because Zion also reminds me of Larry Johnson because he was a beast when he was younger, but then when he got to just before he got to the Knicks, he hurt his back and everything was downhill for this. So I hope that Zion that doesn't happen to Zion. Everyone seems to be wishing it upon him that he'll eventually hurt himself, but he's a country boy, man. His bones are huge. You got big bones under there. So I don't think that he'll probably be just like Charles Barkley. That's another variant
Yeah,
of Zion, right?
definitely,
Same.
definitely. I
Yeah, same
agree.
kind of short guy to get the rebounds, and he had a long career too, Charles Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix Barkley was just unlike anything, in terms of his career.
Yeah, he was able to shoot threes. He was doing a lot more dribbling. In Philadelphia, he was more of a power guy. The guy would go. He would still do a lot of fast break dribbling, but it was more the gorilla dunk. He was jumping like from like the dotted line and two hands back like this and boom. He was more that type of guy. More actually very similar to Zion. So like I'm gonna throw this at you like young people of this generation, right? So you're 18, right?
I'll be 18 in exactly a month from
Okay,
today.
cool. So you're almost there, but this is your age group, right? So I got a problem with guys on Twitter that are like your age 17, 18, or into the 20s. Even somebody like State that's like in his early 30s. They kind of get crazy about what's happening now, and they really don't have that look to like the past. So where are you with that? So because I mean. We're talking about Zion and Charles Barkley, but people say act like Zion never like that never happened before. But like I said, I just pointed out Larry Johnson. I pointed out Charles Barkley, and then there's been plenty of guys throughout the history of the NBA that were very similar to Zion. So I mean, what do you think about all that? Do you think I'm right that young people don't really care about the past or don't really know the history and things like that?
Yeah, man. I honestly I feel like it's like a lack of like research and like knowledge. I mean, with me, I mean, I'm lucky to have grown up with like a figure like my dad and my family and both sides of my family where my dad grew up in the Clyde era. I mean, his dad grew up in the old Knicks eras. I mean, just so I was just I'm so lucky to have not only knowledge of way back when, but like just like knowledge of just like years and years and years ago. That's why I'm able to like bring so many things up in conversations and stuff. And I just think in terms of this generation, um, another thing that like me and my dad talk about that I get in the habit of sometimes is like you see a guy have a terrible game and you're like, oh, that guy sucks. Like, why is he even there? Right. And like, like, my dad would be like, he doesn't suck. Like, guys living in the NBA, like this the best of the best. It doesn't matter his role or performance and stuff like that. But I think that yeah, I think it's just like a lack of like I mean, you see like Zion or like a guy like Chris Webber or like something, uh, and it's just like it's happened before, right? We've seen it time and time again, I mean, you can see it with shooters, you can see it with centers, I mean, it's like you have guys like I'm trying to think of like who's a center right now that could like really, really, really shoot well, um, like
You can go down the line. There's a few people like even like the Lopez brother in
yeah,
Milwaukee,
exactly,
3-point shooting.
yeah. Yes, like Brook Lopez. Like, people are like, "Oh my god, like he's so good at threes and so versatile." But like, you have guys like Yao Ming that have done this decades ago, and it's just like you gotta just do your research and just, it's always fun to watch old games or highlights or just like crucial moments in like organizations' histories and games and championships and playoff appearances and series and whatnot. So yeah, I agree. I think it's just, um, I think coming into like NBA discussions and debates and takes, um, yeah, exactly. Like you gotta just be aware of like, kind of everything that's currently going on and just that's everything that's happened in the past leading up to to this point in the league's history. You know.
Yeah, well, like we was talking about big men that could shoot. From the Bucks, you could talk about Jack Sikma. You know, does that name ring a bell to you at all?
A little bit before my time, but yeah, yeah,
See,
yeah.
like yeah, but that's a beautiful thing about having your family and stuff like your dad. Like you could bring up Jack Sigma, and but your dad's gonna be like, oh yeah, Jack Sigma. You know, he'll come to him like about how good he used to be. Jack Sigma used to be on the Bucks, and I think he played for the Supersonics as well.
Hmm.
Another guy, Tom Chambers.
Yeah.
Talking about big men that they could shoot. Guys that could put the ball on the floor, score. Tom Chambers scored 27 points a game, 1 year All-Star game MVP. They'll never talk about him. But we had Dirk, we had KP and all these different guys, just that are similar to him, but you never hear Tom Chambers, name brought up in the conversation. So it really comes down to ignorance because, I'm just trying to paint a picture here because, I threw you under the bus kind of because you're a young person, right? But us as like older guys, like we don't show the young people these players. We don't talk about them. We always talk about the same guys, and then we allow like networks like ESPN and whatever to create that narrative and create the ignorance because you're not going to be able to sell clicks if everybody knows everything. So you got to keep guys in the dark where you can control how people think. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to guys like Jack Singelman because these guys got to be remembered throughout our history. Tom Chambers, shout out to you too. They only show Tom Chambers when they want to show the dunk when he dunked over Mark Jackson, put his knees in his chest, and dunked over Mark Jackson. That's the only time you ever hear about Tom Chambers. But we need to remember our history, and it really is ignorance on the part of the youth and also on the part of us too, man, because we have to build that branch of the thing. Like, I wish we had a TVA to erase a lot of problems too, but also too, I wish we had like a better video back in the days that we could just pull stuff and just show guys, listen, this is how it really was. This is how it really is. That and it wouldn't be so like so blurred in between, with the two generations.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's like guys like and it's like the people in my generation, we have like the latest 2Ks where like there's a mode you can just do my team, right? You could like create your own team and then they have all these different eras of players, right? And it helps me just learn more about players. My friend, has guys that could really shoot, and it got me learning about guys like Keith Van Horn or like Rudy Tomjanovich. And it's just like, it's just like they're insane blasts from the past, but like it's another, easy way to just like learn about players of the past. So, like Greg said, so you don't keep making the same mistakes. And yeah, just so you're more knowledgeable and just like, just wiser when you come into debates or takes.
Yeah, and well, what annoys me too is say I appreciate you, man. You're like you have like I said, a great family. I would love to meet your dad one day. He seems like a cool dude, but I can see the connection. Whatever, you're a real diehard fan. So when I say things, it's not like, oh, well, what are you talking about? It's never like something like I don't know what you're talking about type of thing. That's what I hate about conversations. Like if I'm talking about stuff, I don't want to have to make it a history lesson when I'm teaching you something in order to make a point, because then I can't talk to you. It's not that I'm older or whatever. It's like, listen, if you like a sport, if you call yourself a diehard fan of anything, Yankees, Mets, whatever, anything, if you claim that, and when we have a conversation, if somebody brings up something, you can't be ignorant to it. You just can't be into it. That's your job as a fan, especially if you're going to be getting into debates and stuff. You're going to come into my comments. Shout out to everybody that's been harassing me in my comments about the last few videos or whatever. This is all for conversational purposes. But just don't come into the comments if you don't know what the hell you're talking about, because it's easily Googleable. You can Google it before you text, before you comment. So I don't want to get into like history lessons with people, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. But anyway, Los want to call me an old head. I am an old head, man. Look, I ain't got no hairline no more, man. I used to have a nice hairline. I used to have long dreads back in the days, man. But it is what it is. Things go on, man.
Yeah, man. And it's even more important, as Knicks content creators, right? I mean, you're almost required, to know about, moments from the past, mistakes that we've made. It's like recently, through you, you know, I personally, growing up, I never even heard of Scott Layden, right? So, I watched your pod and I was like, what? Like, how did this happen, man? And, like, it leads into conversations with my dad about it. The whole Isaiah Thomas thing when he was in our organization. It's little things, that just, it's great about, other Knicks content creators. I learned so much from you and State and Apollo and all these guys, and it's just great to just learn more about, the NBA and league history. And I just find that really, really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely. That Scott Layden podcast was painful to watch,
Yeah.
because I watch my own podcast. Here's the thing too. Like when I see myself, I don't recognize myself. When I hear
Mhm.
my voice, I don't recognize my voice. So I actually enjoy my own podcast, which is weird. It's kind of like freaky a little bit. But anyway, like I was listening to the podcast. It was hard to watch because like you could just see me break it down. Like, whoa, I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
It was so many bad things that Scott Layden did. That's another thing. They only talk about Isaiah. They only talk about how
Mhm.
bad Isaiah's era was. Isaiah's era was very bad, but there would be no Isaiah era without the Scott Layden era, man. You got to remember what happened. You got to be able to tell the whole story. You can't just be like, okay, hey man, that guy slapped that guy. I don't know why he did that, but did you see what happened before that? Like you only saw, the aftermath. You didn't see the what led up to that. So that's very important to make these connections with history, man. So I'm glad you're here with me, man. Because State was gonna be here with us, but State is out in these streets. He's telling me that his sister gave him like 3 shots of Patron. So hopefully, he's not sitting in on the boat, like we was talking about before, getting detox right now in somebody's precinct, man. So shout out to State. But
Yeah, man.
I wish he was here, man. So he can give us a little his little insight on things, because it's really like the generation. I'm in my 40s, like he's in his 30s, and you're approaching your 20s soon, man. So
Crazy,
it's an interesting
crazy,
thing. Yeah.
crazy. It's like it's crazy, man. Oh my god, I'm approaching my 20s, bro. Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yo,
I feel
it
I,
goes
I
by
feel old.
fast.
I feel like an old head, man. It's like I mean, it's like my all my friends are like, listen to new music, and you got me listening to like 90s and 80s music. You know, it's the little things,
Yeah, I think you're old head at heart, though, man. You're
Yeah.
definitely like an old soul kind of kid. So I mean that first part. Remember the first podcast we did?
Oh
Me
my
and you?
god. Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
that was an audio podcast. It's
yeah,
all on Anchor, man. I remember that. That was crazy. That was a blast, man. That was great.
yeah. We vibed off right away, man. So we maybe we were from the same timeline. Maybe we were pulled off another timeline and brought here, whatever. I don't
Exactly.
know. So let's get into another player, man. So I'm this is let me show you what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
actually
yeah.
just looking at Basketball Reference. So this is these are the players that I'm going in order, according to who's going to be here next year. But we could talk about some of these other guys on the list as well. But one guy I just want to bring up because he's basically been a draft bust is Kevin Knox. So like Kevin Knox, who does Kevin Knox remind you of, or who do you wish Kevin Knox would be, or who does he remind you of now? So anything.
Well, let's say Kevin Knox reminds me, first off, before any players, I mean, it's just a bad nightmare, that whole situation. Uh, I mean, just the players we could have gotten and all of that, but let's see. Who reminds me of Kevin Knox? Me and my dad just watched like a 3-minute like summary video of that the Knicks put out on Twitter with like highlights from the season. And it's just like um, he reminds me of like Dennis Rodman almost in terms of like the hustle. From this season, I had no idea the many 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 plays he had where he's diving out of bounds, trying to keep balls in play, um,
Pause.
and all that. And it's just like you have guys like Dennis Rodman who are just just flinging their bodies out, into the crowd, just to save balls, keep plays going, and like he just reminds me of just players that just like we were talking about earlier, like he has like an explosiveness that's like it's seen, but it's not like being like strengthened or like utilized almost, and it's just like it's a shame because it's just like I think I mean, obviously everybody's talking about the Colin Sexton thing, but it's just like, I think he would fit really well in Cleveland. I mean, yeah, Landry was solid. I met Landry Fields at game. What was the last game we had in that Hawk series? I think it was 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Landry Fields was just a nice, genuine guy. I thought he would kind of try to like act like like, oh please, like I'm okay. But no, man, came right up to us, very, very, very nice. But it's just like back to like the whole Knox thing. I think he's gonna fit really well in Cleveland. Because like I mean, what I mean, I guess we could pull it up on Basketball Reference, but it's just like, I don't really know that. I mean, I don't really think Cleveland has that strong of a 3 position, right? I mean,
Well,
it,
Cleveland, they just drafted a guy last year. One of the guys that we actually wanted too. Let me see if I can pull up that draft. Well, I'll put up on the screen. I was gonna pull up Knox's draft class.
oh,
So I'll
oh,
pull that up.
let's do that. Let's do that. But it's just like I think he's gonna fit well in Cleveland. I mean, you got guys like let's see here. Yeah, I was talking about McCall Bridges the whole finals with my dad. I was like, you see that guy could have drafted him. You see guys like Shea, Michael Porter Jr. Like, come on. I mean, Kevin Herter. If we got Kevin Herter, what I saw what this man did to my Knicks, oh my God, it was bad. Grayson Allen was somebody that I thought was going to be a whole lot better than he really was. I mean, he reminds me of like Zaza Pachulia, just straight up dirty. Just of every play, that he was a part of. But I guess just back to Knox, it's like he just really has explosiveness, and I will say, Anfernee Simons should not have beaten Obi in that dunk contest. That was just, oh my God. It reminded me exactly of when James White was in the dunk contest, like 2013. And
Yeah.
it's like, because at that time it wasn't really like Obi was like, doing crazy things, right? He was mainly known for his athleticism. I mean, he still is, but like, he wasn't really developing like a 3-point shot. He was really forcing it. And it's like James White and Obi are really similar because they're really just their strength is their athleticism, right? And it was like the dunk contest was like that one kind of thing where it's like you're really good at this one thing, and they couldn't really get the job done. But it's also just like Obi's first dunk should have been saved for way later and a whole nother thing. But like, but yeah, man, let's get into this draft class.
Well, you mentioned you're talking about Anthony Simons, right? He was basically like at the end of the first round. I got Hamidou Diallo tagged up there. There's a couple of other names too that are here. If you would have got any of those guys, we would totally be better off. Even Grayson Allen, because it really has to do with who you get drafted by. So if you get drafted by a certain team that can actually use your talent, you'll be able to excel a little bit more. But I mean, Kevin Knox, he was drafted to a team that needed a small forward. We always needed somebody. A lot of people want to blame the fact that we put a veteran ahead of him, but back in the days, how we used to go, you get a veteran to show the young guy, where he needs to go. So the talent should speak for itself. By this time, Kevin Knox is in his 4th year. By now, he should be he should be that guy already. He should be that guy that we need to be. Like I said, judging by his draft class, Hamidou, I think he's ready for the next level. He's a free agent now, and he's going to be that looking for another contract. But when he goes to that next team, I think he's really going to show signs. And this guy Anthony Simmons also, depending on what they do with Dame or whatever. Simmons, I think it's Simon. He's ready for that starting small forward spot. What's another guy? Shout out to Mikal Bridges, and shout out to Miles Bridges. And even the other guy that we missed on, Michael Porter Jr. All these guys are ready to ascend into that next spot, but Kevin Knox is still just trying to find his way in the NBA. So it sucks. It really sucks. But it is what it is. Not everybody can stick in the NBA. Not everybody is built for this.
Exactly, and you talk about guys that are ready just to step up to the next level, and it's like I see a guy like Shea, um, and it's just like he is just. I mean, he's kind of already been embraced in this role, but he is just wholeheartedly ready to just take the keys of Oklahoma and just run with it. You know, I mean, I feel like Oklahoma is just going to trade Kemba immediately just to get more picks. I mean, you know, it's like enough is enough already. They have so many already, but like, you know, I just think that Shea is just so ready to just be embraced into that star of Oklahoma. And it's a shame because it's just like you look at Kevin Knox and there's so much untapped potential with him, whether it's his corner three that he was really, 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 I mean, it was highlighted that potential, throughout this season, explosiveness to the rim, and just like diving plays, like again to that Rodman comparison. It's just like there are moments where he's really showcasing, but it's not going to really be strengthened in our system.
Yeah. May the Fourth also mentioned Balkman too. You remember Balkman
I do. I remember his crazy hair.
and his big ass nose too, right?
Yeah, and the beard and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was always a guy. Just whenever I'm playing old video games, I always come up to him and I'm like, I remember that guy, Uh, but I mean, he was just, I guess during his
Yeah.
time at Knicks,
But similarly, like just the way that he dribbles the basketball, all that type of thing, it reminds me of Knox. I said that Balkman didn't have a jump shot. Knox does have a jump shot. But if Balkman had a jump shot, what kind of career would he have? Because he's still playing. Balkman, he's not playing in the NBA, but he's playing overseas. He's still playing. Like I forgot which team they. I think it's Puerto Rico. I think he's playing for the Puerto Rico national team.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's still playing basketball at a high level. So I wish that Kevin Knox would have that, because that's the only thing that he's really missing. He just doesn't have that thing about him. That when I never seen you play. But I know you have your friends and stuff that you play with and stuff like that. When you get on the court, you're different, man. Like you shooting around with your friends and you just shooting the breeze. You got you're working on your handle, all your favorite moves and stuff like that. It's like Knox doesn't have his joy in the NBA. I feel like he's like, I don't know if he'll ever get it, because it's something in his mind that he can't get. Do you get what I'm trying to figure out here with
Yeah,
that, with
man.
the whole joy thing?
Yeah, man. It's like with me, and I guess everybody that plays basketball, you go into every single game, whether it's a scrimmage or practice or just a straight up game. You go in with a new mindset almost, right? Some days you're gonna want to play like Klay Thompson. The other days you're gonna want to play like Zach Randolph with that toughness, just drilling big guys into the paint. Um, and it's like guys like Knox. He really hasn't really been getting that. Like you were talking about with happiness. A guy that I've seen that has just been playing at an absolutely great level. Luis Scola. I believe I think he's playing in Argentina. And he's like 41 and he's like killing it. Like he could easily be like a dominant force in the NBA, get him on the right team. But it's like that's just what I want Knox to do, It's like you got, I mean, I don't know. Again, I think it just could be the system, and it's not possible to just get him, just solid frequent minutes. But it's just I would love for him, guys like him, Frank, Obi, just guys to just go in with that, different mindset and everything, and that's what I really hope if he gets traded to Cleveland, that's gonna be what he really just kind of goes off of, we get Colin Sexton. I mean, that offense, I think it'll probably be led by like Darius Garland. I think that's the
Yeah,
second guy up. So
yeah,
that should be nice.
yeah. What's the name of the point guard you mentioned again?
Darius Garland.
Yeah, Darius Garland. He'll definitely be the point guard starting with them. They also have a lot of shooting guards coming in the NBA this year. From the draft. So Cleveland will be fine if they get rid of Sexton. Another guy, Seti Osman, that Pudge mentioned here. Seti Osman and Knox. What's the difference between them? They're very similar players. How come Knox is not Seti Osman? At least be Seti Osman.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something missing there. But here's the player that I was trying to figure out what his name was. Isaac Okoro on Cleveland. That's the guy
Mhm.
that Cleveland
Yeah,
drafted last.
yeah. Yes. Oh, I don't even know how that escaped my mind.
Yeah, but that's a player that a lot of Knicks fans wanted for the Knicks. In hindsight, it would have been nice, but they picked him kind of high. I thought certain it's always hindsight is 2020. Like Isaac Okoro, I didn't think was very good. I also didn't think that Halliburton was going to be good. Tyrese Halliburton, but it is what it is. Devin Vassell is another guy guys wanted. I wanted Denny Avija. He didn't really
Yeah.
have that great of a season, but you can see the potential at least. Patrick Williams is a guy I thought Chicago really reached for, but you can also see the potential in him, so you can see why they drafted him. But I don't know, man. Kevin Knox, I see why the Knicks drafted him. He basically won his workout. The Knicks had him and a bunch of other guys. The two Bridges kids and some other guys, and basically he won the night. He won the day. I guess he couldn't miss. I guess he was killing every drill. Maybe the one-on-ones. He won the one-on-one drills and stuff. So, but drills is not the game. You got to have certain things about you, like Louis Scola. You mentioned Louis Scola. Right? Louis Scola is my age, man, which drives me crazy. It drives me crazy to see Louis Scola because I've been watching him. I remember, here's the thing too. Before the internet, I predate the internet. When I was your age, there was no internet. You know what I'm saying? So, Louis Scola, I remember hearing about Louis Scola in the streets in New York. Oh, this is kid freaking Louis Scola, blah blah. And then as time went on, you would see him, in overseas and things like that. Another guy like Rubio, you heard about Rubio in the streets. Another guy, what's the Dominican basketball player? Somebody will bring it in the chat. The guy from the '90s. People knew about him from Dominican Republic just from word of mouth. Oh, there's this kid in the Dominican Republic that's really nice, man. He's going to be the next great player. And the next thing you know, he's playing for Rice High School, and he's doing whatever. So internet it kind of messed up everything really. Because people throw all times in sports and just like any sport. Yeah, Felipe Lopez. There you go. Thank you, Frederick. I know somebody would say it. Felipe Lopez. He was a great basketball player, but people knew about him already in the streets. And he's from another country. So that's how ill word of mouth is, man. So the internet kind of clouds that thing. So I wish that word of mouth will come back and people stop hiding on Twitter. Under fake monikers and stuff like that, and stop hiding behind ignorance, because that's what it really is. When you're talking about not knowing your history and stuff like that, it's just pure ignorance. It's like the easy way out. Anybody can just get a voice and throw stuff out there just for shits and giggles. But like it's really ignorant if you're saying stuff and you don't know what you're talking about. It's not cool, man.
Yeah, and a funny story. I mean, just kind of popped in my head. I'm seeing Onyeka Okongwu on this on the draft class. I this was game 5. I'm with me and my friend, and you saw from my Knicks account, we're like directly behind the Hawks bench. Knicks are getting killed. Hawks hit a 3, so I believe Onyeka Okongwu was doing something like this, like a 3 celebration. And my friend is just like, "You're a bum, you're a bench warmer," and he just turned around and just went like this, just right into our faces. And I was like, "All right, nice." But I was nice to him at the beginning of the game. I was like, "Loved you in college," just wishing him luck. And I just saw, I think he just got like a surgery or something. But yeah, man, I agree with you. It's just you see all these guys like Louis Scola. And another guy that's coming to mind, I've been watching I think it's like the Big 3 League or something, but Joe Johnson is absolutely killing it right now. And I would love to see him back in the league. It's just like the leagues like Ice Cube's league, the Big 3 is really great because you get to see retired NBA players or NBA players that haven't just kind of playing on the side like overseas and whatnot. and you're just like they could still play at that high level consistently. So it's just really, really, really nice to see,
Yeah, ball is life, bro. A 3-on-3 is a whole another ball game too. It's a whole different set of rules. It takes a lot out of you, and it's a whole different strategy too to get the rebound and advance it to the 3-point line to start over to come back the other way. It's a whole different mindset because in full court basketball you can kind of get lost in the game a little bit. You can kind of coast and whatever, but in 3-on-3, if you're tired, man. You can't escape because that ball is going to hit the 3-point line, is going to come back. So your reaction is different. Just the whole game plan strategy and everything is different. How you when you get the ball and receive it, and you look at your defense. Now you have to go 1-on-1. You can't hide. So it's an interesting thing there. So the 3-on-3 is like the variant of the NBA basketball game, right? Like the 5-on-5 game.
Exactly. Yes. I'm with you there. I haven't really played that many 3-on-3s, but it is a whole another, kind of mindset.
So what do you play then? What do you play when you play with your friends?
Oh man, 5-on-5s, 2-on-2s. Yeah, no. I have played 3-on-3s.
It's not your preferred basketball game. 3-on-3s.
I mean, I think that obviously I play 5-on-5s more frequently just to get more guys involved. But I definitely play 3-on-3s like a lot with my friends, but definitely 5-on-5s just because you can argue this for both ways, but you're gonna get your 5-on-5, you're gonna get more guys involved, you're gonna get more crazy moments. You can still argue that with 3-on-3s, less guys, the more that's gonna happen. But I think you can argue you can argue for both, but I definitely prefer some 5-on-5s, but 3-on-3s I also like for sure.
Well, with 3-on-3, I think you get more intimate with people, so
Yeah.
you tend to get into more fights on 3-on-3. I notice because like most of the time you don't see a lot of old guys playing 5-on-5s in the court. You usually see them playing 3-on-3s and half court and stuff. So you see a lot of fights because guys are fouling each other. A lot of wrestling and just being on top of each other. That can cause a lot of tension and stuff. So especially if somebody breaks another guy down and then he's going to the rim, you're gonna get knocked. Especially if you're playing. When I was coming up, people used to get hurt all the time, but it never was really like a fight. Guys would fight, one-on-one type of thing, but 9 times out of 10 it would get broken up. But in order for you to even be on the court, you would have to be tough. If you get fouled, you just have to be like just take it and just keep playing. That's how you get your respect in the game. That's another thing too that I would like to say too. Like I see like young people get really upset just about touching. When people touch each other, like, yo, man, that's a foul, blah, blah. And then you're just looking at them like, that's a travel, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're arguing fouls and stuff like that, but that move that you just did, that's freaking travel. I don't care what you say.
Oh, yeah. And I think all young people are guilty of it. I'm guilty of it, for sure, you're always going to see guys flopping, complaining, and that could be for a ton of different reasons. You could be embarrassed of the play you just did and you want to foul to cover it up. Or you just want the ball back immediately because you didn't like the shot that you just took, or you passed up an open look and you're just you're definitely upset about it. I don't know that he's a baby. That's the thing. It's just like you see with his style of play and what he's done this season in the limited time. You see him flying out of bounds, saving balls, explosiveness to the hoop. Corner threes. If I was Kevin Knox, you almost have that mentality of like, what's the point, right? You're getting no minutes. When you were drafted here, you were built up to be, such a used player in that system. You were talking about he was drafted at a time where he really needed a 3. And it's just like he's still going out there with a mentality of like, I have to prove something, even though like he's not can't really be showcased because of the amount of minutes that he's getting due to the system and Tibbs. But I don't think he's a baby at all. Who name somebody if you were in this position, right? You were drafted and you were going to be this big thing, and then nothing really was getting there, and you're still getting out there with like the limited minutes that you got, and you're still diving out of bounds. Not many guys are willing to put bodies on the line when you're in that limited of a role. So I don't think he's a baby at all, especially for the usage that he's getting as well.
Well, the baby thing to me is insulting. I'm gonna throw it back at you also. But like just being a baby, I mean, I know. I guess he's 21 or whatever, however old he is. He came into the NBA when he was 18. So now we're entering his fourth year. So he's basically 21, going on 22 or whatever he is. During that time, 22, man, I was having my first kid at the time. I was working full time and going to school, full time as well. I'm a grown man. Like I didn't have like a big support system behind me. So I'm basically trying to figure it out on my own. In order to succeed in life as a young person, old person, no matter what person, you gotta just put yourself out there. You're 2 feet forward, and you got to go out there and get what you need to get to survive in this earth. To call him a baby, that just disrespects every grown up, every young person trying to be, trying to find himself. It insults everybody. Because why is it different on a basketball court? That drives me absolutely insane. At his age, if I was coming to the NBA at 18, yes, there's a maturity thing that needs to get to. But when you're talking about paying bills and that type of thing, but we're talking about basketball. They're giving you free money and basically setting you up to live in a certain spot. All you gotta do is play ball. At the time when I was 18, I was to me. I thought I was a monster, because if you was in front of me, I was gonna destroy you. I was gonna take your knees from you, and then once I got past you, I was gonna try to bang it on you. That's where I was thinking every single time. I was gonna break you down, and I was gonna get to the rim, and I was gonna bang it on you, or at least try to. I couldn't really dunk like that. I could get it on a fast break, but every single time I drove, I always drove to make you feel like I'm gonna bang it on you. So that was my mentality as a young person playing basketball. But where is his drive? Where's that drive? Where's that young enthusiasm? Where's that spunk, that extra energy as a young person playing basketball? Like I said, when I was his age, I was a freaking beast. I would play basketball from the time the sun came up to the sun goes down. I know you can agree with that now that you're in that role right now. You could play all day long, right?
Exactly.
And then whatever else you want to do throughout the day, you could do it too. And then you're eating crackers and juice and stuff that's not good for you, and you still got the energy to succeed. So I just don't get it, when it comes to that. And then also being like 23 and stuff, it's like, yo, come on, man, like this is your life. You have to be able to stick and move and do what you got to do to get there. I just don't get it. So I mean, like coming from you, like Kevin Knox is a baby. Kevin Knox is older than you. But when I look at you as an equal. I'm not looking at you as a little kid because I hear you talk basketball. I follow you, whatever. We have respect for each other. I know you have that knowledge and that thing about you. I always call you the young shooter. And I have you on the show for a reason, not because or whatever. I know that you know your stuff. So just for somebody to say that Kevin Knox is a baby in every sense of the word, how does that make you feel? From this big rant that I just gave.
Yeah, man. It's just like, for me, in terms of drive, I guess, I'm a small guy, 5'7", and as a guard, I mean, I kind of switched from a point guard and a shooting guard. It's just like, for me, playing with guys that are, in their, early, like 6 foot kind of size and height, and it's just like, what's going to keep me going? If all I'm doing is, if my shot might be off one day, I'm trying to drive in the paint, kind of avoid that. And I just keep getting stuffed or bodied, or, there's a lot of contact and I can't really get stuff off. What's going to keep me going, right? And, that's every other game, I got to prove myself, whether that's, just playing to my strengths, outside, outside for three, and it's just like little things like that. Right. And it's like, with Knox, it's just like, what am I going to do with the limited amount of time that I'm playing that, I'm gonna just make the most out of, because you have players where they play for a certain minutes, and they're not gonna do anything, right? But you see Knox, he's diving out of bounds. You know, he's confident from the three. When he's wide open, and it's just little things like that. And yeah, exactly. He's used to contact. It's just like he's still exploding to the rim. He's still trying to dunk on people, and he's not afraid to show what he has. So for me, it's just like, if something's not going right, how am I gonna play to my strengths, and just kind of make that other game just act like nothing happened. And with Knox, really, it just comes down to what can I do to make the most out of my minutes to ultimately get a higher role, and more minutes and more usage.
Yeah. Well, the thing that word that I want to use for this thing is respect. Like I respect you as someone that as a basketball thing. I don't know anything really. I know you're into the arts. You're really into that, but you have your priorities in order. You said, well, hey, I'm not going to be free a certain amount of time, but I'll be. You're communicating me in such a way, that I have that respect for you. You're not, you just have a maturity level to you. So like that it comes from your family, obviously, right? So this guy Alton Lee, shout out to Alton Lee, shout out to the whole chat. Actually, everybody's pretty active today. But shout out to Alton Lee. The first thing that he said here, he was saying that he was a 4-star, a tight end prospect. He's used to contact. He said we have to figure out why he just won't do it now. Why do that's the thing? Not to single you out. It's just the concept. Why do we, as like a Knicks organization, the coaching staff, why do we have to figure out why he? Why do we have to figure out he? That's something that I teach. Was trying to teach my son. My son is about your age. I'm trying to put those things in his mind. Like we shouldn't have to teach he. He has to teach himself. Like of course you're gonna need a bunch of different things to get you to where you need to be. But no one is gonna hand you anything. You have to be able to dictate your own future. Take it into your, you take the advice of other people, you learn whatever, and you learn as you go along. But a lot of times too, man, if you want something, you got to take it, because there's plenty of people that are around you, your peers, that want the same spot. So you can't be like, oh, this, that. You can't have that mentality. You just have to be like, listen, this is what I want. And mentally picture it, and whatever you need to do to do it, and you go get it. To add on to what he said, he's from a NFL household. As far as basketball and stuff, you're from your household. You have a great family over there. You shout out to your dad and stuff. So this is the reason why that you are the way that you are. But he did grow up in an NFL household. NFL households are tough because it's all sports. He had him in sports of discipline. His dad gave interviews and stuff, and you can see that his dad is a tough guy. This is somebody that raised Kevin Knox to be a certain way. So he did come from an NFL household. So how come that is not translating? How come that is not translating? So it comes down to he, not we, or not them, or not whatever. It comes down to the person. So whatever problems that Kevin Knox is having is definitely his own. So he really needs to figure that out, man. He really does, and it's not anybody else's responsibility but him.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm with you there. It's just like he just really has to figure out, just how am I gonna apply that toughness from a really young age, into the little tiny minutes that he gets night after night.
Yeah, he's got to want it though. He's got to want those minutes, because like you said, he didn't really have too many people in front of him. Mook Morris, they traded him. They traded him so Kevin Knox could get more time, and he sees it. This year he had Reggie Bullock in front of him. You couldn't get minutes over Reggie Bullock.
Right.
And you've been here longer, and of course they're going to give you the biggest look. Because you've been here. They want the potential. They want that draft pick to succeed. So Reggie Bullock is a variant to Knox. Because what's the difference between the two? They're basically the same player, but it's just that I trust Reggie Bullock. What's the difference between you and somebody else your age? I'd rather be here talking to you. There's some other kid your age. So it's just that I have that respect for you. So there's been other people in your age group that just hit me up to do podcasts, but I see how they carry themselves, online or whatever. I don't want to be involved with them. So I'd rather talk to someone like you, because I know that you're going to give me a good basketball conversation, and then just look at the way that you carry yourself. It's that respect, you know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is with this Kevin Knox thing, man.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's it's just it comes down to respect. It's like at the next playoff series, you know, you have everybody screaming F Trae Young. I think I was probably the only one in that arena that did not participate, in those chants. I was just there to document it, of course. But it's just like it's a respect thing, You see you're chanting F Trae Young and this guy's dropping 40 points night after night. So yeah, I'm with you. It just at the end of the day, just comes down to just respect.
Yeah. I see Butter Love trying to throw some facts at me. He quit football after getting hit one time. These are things that we need to research, man. And,
Yeah.
these are character flaws. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about. Oh, this is on Kevin Taylor too. Shout out to Kevin Taylor. Once again, shout out to everybody in the chat. Obi Toppin. What's he talking about here? Yeah. What do you think about Obi Toppin? Obi Toppin. He's a little bit older. But he's still under the same thing as Kevin Knox, that he didn't really come into the NBA as prepared as we thought he was going to come in. What do you think about Obi Toppin?
Yeah, it's just it sucks because it's like he was, at that time, everybody was ready to trade Randle for a bag of snacks, right? We were all done with the guy, and we get Obi Toppin. You see all this film from him at Dayton, and you're like, oh my god, he's going to be the next big thing. He's going to be just an athletic monster, and New York's going to love him. And you see the rise, the skyrocket of Julius Randle, right? All NBA player, an all-star, um, dropping 40 points at will. And by that happening, that just completely diminished Obi's value, and it's just like Butterlove says, he just needs minutes. I agree. He just needs that kind of opportunities to just kind of shine. And that's why I loved the acquisition of Derrick Rose. At that time, nobody was really giving him that many, opportunities. Derrick Rose's first game, he's given him no-look passes. In the playoffs, he gave him full-court lobs in Atlanta. And it's just like, I think that Randle's value, went up as Obi's went down, just due to Randle having an on fire season that nobody really expected, just based off of the way he played last year. But it's going to be interesting. It's like if we didn't give Obi the minutes now, if we trade him to Cleveland, is he going to get huge minutes and play over Kevin Love and just take the keys of Cleveland and ride with it, or are we gonna keep him and just kind of hope Randle doesn't get hot and try to fit in Obi in another way? But it's just really that he needs more opportunities and playing time.
Yeah, I get that. Also too, there's just Obi. I feel like just like with all rookies, he just was letting the game get to him too much. He was trying to do everything, where you really need to pace yourself and figure out what to do. Because we talked about it, between the 5-on-5 game and the 3-on-3 game. 5-on-5, you really there's an open court, so you have to figure out when to pick your spots. You can't be running from end to end and doing this. You have to rely on your teammates. You have to get into space. There's a whole different concept. In half court, you can't hide. So then being super active and things like that will be more, it will be more successful for you. But he just needed to find the pace of the whole pro game and just the excitement of trying to do well. I think that kind of like messed up Obi a little bit. So can you think of any player comparisons? I know at first people were talking about Amari. I think the Amari comparisons are kind of like, it's a variant, like he could potentially be, Amari down the line. But what do you think? What do you think about player comparisons with Obi?
It's like the athletic explosiveness. I mean, reminds me of like Dennis Smith Jr. almost. Not the same position at all, but like, just that kind of trait. Or like Josh Smith. That kind of reminds me of a little bit of Josh Smith. He could shoot, but really was just you know his strength was just getting into the paint. Um, exactly what we see from Obi, right? Obi can shoot threes. Um, I mean, mid range. I didn't really see that much of that kind of side of him yet, but Josh Smith could shoot threes, but really primarily just wanted to go into the paint. Same thing with Obi. You see him really wanting alley oops the whole every possession. That's just him trying to play to his strengths. So I kind of see Blake is another one. I think Obi hopefully can develop a more consistent kind of shot, um, you know, uh, than Blake. But yeah, just kind of like a Josh Smith, kind of like Blake thing. I kind of see a little bit of both.
I see Sean Marion. What do you think about that?
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't see the like crazy fast like.
Yeah, the goofy jump shot. He used to shoot. He used to get up like this and then go whoop, like
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I could see that in terms of like you know, just like the shot. I mean, I guess you can say kind of forcing threes. Obi really tried to force threes beginning of the season, and Sean Marion's always doing the crazy release. So I can definitely see where you're coming from that comparison.
But Sean Marion was goofy. He used to hop around the court, like a deer. He ran weird, but he had a knack for getting into a spot. He also played power forward in Phoenix when he's playing against guys during the time when they were a lot bigger than him, and he had no problem. He was still getting double rebounds every year. He was still getting like 2 blocks a game, just about. Still passing the ball and still getting those weird 3-point shots. Still being able to get score power moves, hook shots, and stuff like that in the lane. Even though that he's a lot smaller than different guys, but his run and jump ability was definitely something that stood out for him. So somebody like Obi's not really like a power guy. So I've been really advocating for him to like figure that out, get into space, and just show guys that you're more athletic than them. So what stood out in the playoffs with Obi is he did just that. The lights came on. The thousands of fans was in the arena while Julius Randle was hamana, trying to figure out how to, get the moment. Obi, locked in. So that's something to think about also too. That he locked in once the crowd came in. That I guess that's in his blood. The whole street ball stuff with his dad, maybe that locked it into him, and he was able to find spots where he would get open, or like if he got the ball. A couple times he got it, and then next thing you know, he's at the rim. Like, oh snap, Obi, where that came from? So Obi Toppin, I feel like, if he can figure that out, not necessarily get so crazy with the adding weight. That annoys me also. Big, just adding weight is like you could be big for nothing. Growing up, we used to always say that, man, you're big for nothing. Because like guys, they think they're heavy with us, so they feel like they can just back you up, bang into you, or because they're so strong they can get rebounds. But little guys, I've seen little guys step up to big guys like that all the time and overpower them. So then big for nothing. So I don't want him to be big and add all that weight because that'll take away his athleticism. So I really would like him to just settle into himself and really just really shine. He's going to be a good player still in this NBA.
Yeah, and that's what worries me about Mitchell Robinson. I see that he put some photos out recently of him just gaining a lot of weight. And I don't want that, like, to what you were saying, like just to decrease his like athleticism in a way. And I don't want it to be like an Eddie Curry type of thing, and it's just like in terms of like the, big for nothing thing, that's what I loved about, Nate Robinson, right? A guy of his size, he could just go into the paint and just dominate. And those are just two things, just adding on to what you just said.
Yeah. Well, somebody just put here, do I take phone calls? I actually do take phone calls, man, but it's up to everyone else. Do you guys want to get on phone calls? Like would you be interested and calling in? Like, how do you feel about that, Aiden? Would you be interested in letting guys call in and stuff from time to
Absolutely.
time?
Absolutely. It's like just any way to keep the conversation going, and just getting, fresh takes and just things like that. But yeah, no, I would love callers.
Well, I hit a milestone recently. I got I hit the 1,000 subscriber thing. So I was waiting just to get to this point, just to put it in the hands of the viewers and stuff. Like, what do you guys want out of this? Would you like to do that type of thing? So also too, like, what I would like is monetization, right? To get some money too. So like the podcasts are monetized too, man. So if you guys want to do super chats, you can drop some money in the collection plate too. You know what I'm saying, and do that. So but anyway, as time goes on, I feel like having Aiden here during a call-in show will be great because I just like I said, it's the respect thing. I just respect. When you talk about variance, you remind me of myself. Except I was a little bit more rougher around the edges back in the days. Just trying to to put it in like as simple as possible. I was a lot like you. Where I was trying to find my voice with and my place in this whole basketball thing. I was still playing basketball, and then I was still trying to figure out how to whatever. So anyway, just the way that you carry yourself, I feel like we're very similar too, man. So I just hope that you just keep on going on, and just doing great things, man. Like I said, you come from I can see that you come from a good family, and I just wish you so much luck and success as you get older, man. Definitely.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So we're into the hour and 16-minute mark. How are you doing with time?
I'm doing good. I'm right on.
Okay, well, we can get close to wrapping up, but let's take a look at the rest of these players. Do you see anybody else here you'd like to talk about?
Um, I love what Emmanuel Quickly's doing. I love his just like off the dribble shot. Reminds me of guys like Steph, um, you know, the Hardens, whatever modern day shooters, that you can think of, right? I mean, Steph with the floaters too, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to quickly kind of touch upon that too. And Theo Pinson just reminds me of any cheerleader that has graced planet Earth. Seeing Theo Pinson on TV and live was a completely different thing. Live I was shocked of how like close, like on he was literally on the baseline like every single play. On TV it looks like he's kind of like far away a little bit, but like he's literally right next to Tibbs at like every single game. So that was interesting. I was surprised that the refs didn't stop and say to go to the bench. But yeah, just a quick little two little things that I wanted to just add upon.
Yeah, that's cool. Theo Pinson. I can't really think of anybody like him, especially in Knicks history. Like somebody's being a cheerleader like that didn't really play.
Yeah.
One guy that does remind me of him on the Celtics. Now I'm gonna have to like dig in the crates now to figure out his name. If anybody, speaking of which, somebody just gave me a super chat. I guess you gotta closed mouths don't get fed, man. So shout out to Heartstorm Media. He's the one that asked about the phone calls, man. So look for that in the future, man. I'll do some live phone call stuff and just have just a freestyle session with you guys just to give back to the community. So shout out to Heartstorm Media. Thank you for your little tip in the tip jar, man. I appreciate that. Definitely, man. So anyway, there's a basketball, a Boston Celtic that used to do that. Is it ML Carr? Does that ring a bell to you? I think it's ML. Yeah, I think it's ML Carr. All right, so I'm gonna have to pull this up on my phone here. He was the guy like during the Larry Bird era. They used to swing the towel around. The black guy. You know what I'm saying? He barely played, but he used to talk so much stuff. I think it's ML Carr. Let me look it up. If anybody in the chat can help that out, that'll be good too. ML Carr. Yes, that's him. ML Carr. He was a bum, man, but like I said, I'm having a little bit of issues with the sharing at the moment, but I don't know if guys can see it. That's ML Carr there. You see him there on the left hand side with
Yeah.
Larry Bird.
Hmm.
Yeah, that face that he had, he reminds me of Theo Pinson so much, man. That enthusiasm and just like always at the baseline, always talking. It's like, yo, man, get out of here with your bum ass. You're not contributed to the game no kind of way, but you're constantly talking. They're always interviewing him. They always want to know what he has to say about stuff, but he wasn't even playing. So that's a deep cut there. Yo, if you get a chance, actually that about ML Carr and how annoying he was, when he was on the Celtics, man. Yeah, so I mean, I really appreciate what Theo Pinson does. But you mentioned quickly too. Anybody that like a variant of quickly that you could think of?
Yeah. Isaiah Thomas, like Celtics Isaiah Thomas. That kind of, brings to mind, just him you know, the shot, also just driving into the paint, and just, embracing contact at will. That totally could be a variant of quickly as well. Besides like Harden's and Steph's and players like that.
That's interesting, Isaiah Thomas. I never thought about that. But he was like a big time scorer or whatever. I think somebody just got killed next to next door. I hope they're all right over there. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ, man! Like New York City is crazy, man. That was a firecracker, by the way. But anyway, all right. Does that sound like a firecracker to you?
I hope so.
Oh my god! Like I'm not quote unquote in the hood, man, but that kind of reminded me of East New York back in the days. Lord have mercy. So anyway, man, and what was he saying? Emmanuel quickly. So like it's funny that you mentioned Isaiah Thomas from the Celtics out of all people, but because like everybody always says Lou Williams, just without even thinking, oh, he's Lou Williams, like he's still young. you want to give Kevin Knox, say Kevin Knox is a baby, but Emmanuel quickly he can't never get better. He's only going to be Lou Williams. So like you mentioned Isaiah Thomas, this like Steph Curry, a couple of other big guys too. Why not? Why can't he be somebody like that? Why can't he be somebody that good?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I just think that confidence is going to build eventually, and hopefully that could definitely manifest into its own.
Yeah, and then he's our own draft pick too, so it would make so much sense to put him into that starting spot to take it over. Because I mean, his 18 minutes a game, 36 minutes a game stats are incredible. He's like 21 points a game, almost 4 assists, just about 4 rebounds as well. So that's pretty decent. That's close to what Isaiah Thomas was doing. That's something similar to what guys like Dame and these guys are doing too. The playmaking has to get better. Of course, shot selection has to get better, getting the teammates involved. But just the way that he talks the game, the way he did last year, he could talk to the game. He's working the refs, stuff like that. Those are things that he already can do. Somebody that jumps out at me also is Sam Cassell, like a young Sam Cassell. He kind of reminds me of that also. Sam Cassell had the stigma also with that he was just going to be like a super sub because he won that championship with Houston. They played, they did a back-to-back championship, and then they got rid of him like in the 3rd or 4th season. Next thing you know, he actually became a starting point guard in the NBA with various different teams. He played for the Bucks. He played for the Nets. He played for the Nets one, and he's won. And I think he went to the playoffs basically almost every year of his career. So why can't that be Emmanuel quickly? I just don't get it. It will save us a lot of money too, because then we can really invest in other positions.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we kind of touched on a lot of stuff here, man. It's a big long podcast. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you coming here. This is long overdue, man. We gotta do it more often.
Exactly, and that's why I'm excited for the draft. Tomorrow is going to be a really, really, really fun draft special. And then I think for the actual drafts, I know you're doing something with NBK, right?
Yeah, they're actually going to be in Atlantic City, and they're going to do a live show. They're going to have they rented out one of the banquet halls, or whatever. They're going to have a big setup stage. A lot of the MPK guys are going to be there. They're going to, I'm going to try to get involved with that. They're supposed to be they're going to have a Zoom thing on the screen. I really wish I could be there, but I'm going to be in Florida. I'm doing a family trip with that I already had planned like a long time ago. So I have basically 3.5 weeks off, man.
That's awesome. That's great.
That is freaking awesome. You know what I'm saying? So when I get back to work, I'm gonna end up killing everybody there when I get there. But it's almost a whole month off. So I wish that I could fit that Atlantic City trip in there, but I won't be able to. But I know you have something planned too. You would like to do like a live viewing also, right? Like a play by
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, something for the draft for sure. Whether that I could get like State on there or like Apollo or somebody just kind of a thing like that. It could just be like a live on Instagram or something. It'll be in the moment kind of thing, like as the draft's kind of like happening and whatnot. But we'll see. We'll see. It's in like a week. Like it's this week. So, I got time to think about what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you're a young guy. You're trying to figure out. You got a lot of you're doing the college thing and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff on your plate. But yeah, I like what you do on Instagram, man. The stuff that
Yeah.
you've been posting and whatever. I really like that. The lives that you do. Those are good too, man. So that's another platform that you can basically take over, man. So look, everybody. I think everybody should really follow the Knicks community. Follow him on Instagram. He's very active on Instagram. He's on Twitter as well. He's on YouTube as well. But follow him on all platforms and just really look out for this kid, man. I think you're gonna see him somewhere, right?
Yeah, man.
If
Hopefully wherever that might be. But what I really noticed that was really cool was just me doing just lives from MSG was really, really, really fun. Um, you know, I mean, I just kind of saw that was kind of a niche almost. It was like everybody was like so drawn to it, and so yeah, I'm definitely gonna start doing lives on there some more. Um, and it was really fun. I would kind of have like this thing going on where I would do a live when I got to MSG and then a post game live. Obviously, I couldn't do a post game live from the mosh pit outside MSG because that was too much. So I just had to film a couple things and just get out because I had to get home. I didn't want to get stuck in traffic or stuck in the craziness that was like 7th Avenue. But yeah, man, no, I'll definitely I gotta get on. I'm now getting a little more consistent on Twitter. But I definitely should get into debates and takes with people on there.
Stay away from State.
Yeah. Dude,
State is an absolute maniac on Twitter,
yeah,
man.
man. I checked his account, often just to see. I think he gets into an argument like every minute of the day with a new
Every
person. It's
yes.
crazy. It's crazy. Oh man, it's nuts
The,
every day.
Yeah, the thing with Twitter too, like if you comment on a thread that they're arguing in, then you're gonna get bombarded with millions of like notifications, whatever. So, he was trying to encourage me to get on Twitter. Just everybody's on Twitter, man. You got to get down on Twitter. So I said, okay, listen, let me jump in a thread. So they made a thread, and I jumped on there, and I could not get out of the thread. I
Right.
wanted to get out. I said, please, God, let me out of this damn thread. So they were like arguing every day, man. So I was getting into arguments with guys. And then see, like I'm older, man, so I just don't like that stuff. It doesn't necessarily get to me, if you want to say. But listen, if you're gonna like say something like call me like a bitch. You're gonna call me a bitch on Twitter and say, listen, man, I'm gonna look for your IP address and I'm gonna be walking down your block. You know what I'm saying? Like, calm down. Like. But that's the way that Twitter is. Guys curse each other out all day long, and I just don't like that. I don't want that negativity in my eye socket, man. But State navigates through that stuff just like like this the motivation for this podcast, man. Like he's just like Kang the Conqueror, on Twitter. So it's crazy.
Yeah, man. No, I agree. It's a lot, especially like just group chats in general. Just you always get stuck in them, and it's never good.
Yeah, these guys on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is crazy. These guys got me in a chat on WhatsApp, man. I hate those guys, man. They know I hate them, and they keep I keep taking myself out of a chat, and then they keep making new ones and put me in. So I stopped fighting. So now I'm just in the chat, and I just block. I block notifications, and they just saying a whole bunch of crazy stuff on there. I hate you guys on WhatsApp. I just want to let you know for guys that are watching, because I know you are. I hate you guys. But anyway, man, thank you, Aiden, for coming through on the pod. It's a decent one, man. Guys were drawn to this thumbnail here, so hopefully people come here and check us out, watch the whole podcast, see what we have to say, and then get to know Knicks community, man, and the things that you do, and then just keep following Die Knicks podcast like everybody else, man. Like I said, my man here, he just asked for this guy here with the super chat. He asked for live call-ins, so look out for a live call-in show soon, man. You probably see Mr. Aiden here with me from time to time, and we'll make it happen, man.
Yeah. No, we should do a lot. We could do live calls tomorrow for the draft special. Get everybody's opinions on who to draft and whatnot,
Yeah, from your mouth to God's ears, or whatever, or to God's iPhone or whatever. So we'll definitely do that, man. So look out for that. Everybody come back tomorrow at 9 p.m. State will be here, so you get to argue with State, and also Guard Up Knicks is going to be Apollo from Guard Up Knicks. He's the genius. I call him the genius. He's very smart as well. So this seems to be the little conglomerate here at Die Knicks, man. The combination of Knicks community, State of the Knicks podcast, and also Guard Up Knicks podcast, man. So, shout out to the crew. Shout out to the NBK fan too. Those are my guys as well, man. So, definitely going to be doing a lot more things going forward with this Knicks content stuff, man. It's beautiful. Yeah, right on cue there. Appreciate the content, guys. Yeah, we will. We'll keep putting it out there as long as you guys support, man. So, any last words, Mr. Aiden?
Yeah, man. Very excited for the draft to come up. We're probably gonna be talking about a ton of prospects. And just keep supporting local, Knicks content creators like Eru and myself, State, Guard Up Knicks, all of NBK. They do some really, really, really cool stuff. And yeah, man, I excited for live callers to be a thing, and yeah, can't wait.
All right, man. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. It's the Knicks podcast with excuse me, I'm about to call you State of the Knicks, Knicks community podcast. Mr. Aiden Donahue here, man. This is the crew here. So I see you guys soon. See you guys tomorrow for the draft special, and have a good night, guys. Peace.